If you notice that your energy keeps looping toward people who are difficult to reach, stay here for a moment. You know the feeling. They are cold. They are dismissive. They withhold. And somehow that makes you want their approval more. The kind person who sees you easily. You barely notice them. But the one who keeps you guessing. Who makes you work for it. Who leaves you feeling unseen. You cannot stop thinking about them. If this is you, stay here for a moment. Here is what to understand about this pattern. It is not a sign that you are desperate. It is not evidence that you have no self-worth. It is not a failure to value people who treat you well. It is an adaptation. Something your nervous system learned to do. Because at some point it needed to. It's an energetic memory. Somewhere in your childhood, you learned that approval is not freely given. Maybe love was conditional. Maybe attention had to be earned. Maybe the people you needed most were the ones who were hardest to reach. Your nervous system learned something specific from this. It learned that valuable approval comes from people who withhold it. That if someone is easy to please, their approval must not mean as much. That the effort is what makes it real. So you learned to chase. Not because you wanted to. Because your system learned that your survival depends on winning over the people who are difficult to reach. Here is what that means practically. The craving is not a choice. It is a conditioned response. When you encounter someone who is cold or dismissive, your nervous system does not evaluate whether they are worth your energy. It activates the old learning. The learning that says, this is the person whose approval matters. If you can win them over, you will finally be safe. So you chase. You try harder. You perform. You twist yourself into shapes, trying to get them to see you. Not because you are desperate, because your body learned that your survival depends on their approval. This is the resonance angle. What you are carrying inside resonates with what is outside that matches it. If you learned that approval must be earned from difficult people, you will be drawn to people who are difficult to please. Not because you want to feel unseen, because the familiar feels like home. And people who see you easily, who approve of you without effort, who do not make you work for it, they may feel wrong. Not wrong because they are wrong. Wrong because your nervous system does not recognize them. They do not fit the template. They do not activate the familiar pattern of chasing and striving. The person who withholds approval is not more valuable than the person who gives it freely. They are familiar, and the obsession you feel is not proof that their approval matters more. It is the cost of a pattern that was never updated. Here is what this pattern is costing you. You invest your energy in people who do not see you. You ignore the ones who do. You exhaust yourself trying to earn what should never have been conditional. You feel unseen in relationships where you are doing all the work. And you blame yourself. If I just try harder, if I am just better, if I can just figure out what they want. And underneath the craving, there is a younger part of you that learned that love is not free. That part is still waiting for someone to say, you do not have to earn being seen. You are worthy of approval, without performing for it. In the session that follows, we are going to work with this pattern directly. Not by telling yourself to stop caring. Not by trying to redirect your attention to kinder people. By going into the body, where the craving lives, and updating what the nervous system believes about approval. The session will guide you through the felt sense of the chasing, the beliefs beneath the craving, The younger part of you that learned that approval must be earned from people who withhold it. And then it will resource that part with something it did not have back then. Your presence as an adult, your capacity to be with what arises, and a deeper truth about who you actually are, beneath the need for their approval. Let's now go to the integration session. If you notice that your energy keeps looping toward people who are difficult to reach, stay here for a moment. Take a slow breath and arrive here. You do not need to analyze anything. Let the words land where they land. Your body will take what it needs. This material is emotionally activating by design. It works by meeting what you are carrying directly. To get the full benefit and stay present rather than overwhelmed, tap gently on a single point as you listen. If you know AFT, you can use all 9 points. But using only a single point, such as karate chop or collarbone, keeps your attention inside the feeling, rather than tracking where to tap next, and is just as effective. Let's begin. I now recall how this pattern shows up in my life. I tend to believe that approval means more when it comes from someone who is hard to please. I often find myself trying harder with people who seem indifferent to me. I commonly interpret coldness as a challenge rather than a signal to withdraw. I regularly assume that if I just do enough, I will finally be seen. I frequently confuse emotional unavailability with depth or importance. If this resonates, we will now gently connect with the emotional experience behind this pattern. I want validation most from the people who withhold it. I keep seeking approval from people who rarely give it. I feel deeply affected by whether they approve of me. I become emotionally hooked on winning over cold people. I want recognition from people who make me feel unseen. I chase acceptance from those who keep moving the goalposts. I feel driven to prove my worth to invalidating people. I care too much about being chosen by people who devalue me. I feel obsessed with earning approval that should not matter this much. I feel hurt when I cannot get affirmation from emotionally withholding people. Even though I am caught in this loop of chasing approval from people who withhold it. This is just a passing pattern arising in consciousness, not who I really am. I just want them to look at me and finally say I am enough. Why is it so hard for them to just be warm? I feel small and frantic inside, like a child begging for a crumb. I keep thinking maybe this time will be different. My chest feels tight and hollow at the same time. I cannot stop replaying what I said and what they did not say back. It hurts so much that I am invisible to them. I would do anything to feel chosen by them just once. This feels like starving while food is held just out of reach. I hate that I care this much and I cannot stop. Notice how this feels in your body. My stomach clenches every time they glance away. I am nothing if they do not see me. Breathe into the heaviness in your chest. I feel furious at myself for wanting their love so badly. They must be right and I must be wrong. I will never be good enough for them. Let the body soften a little. I am drowning in this need for their approval. My mind says I am pathetic for trying again. I feel the tears behind my eyes that will not come. Notice how this feels in your body. I cannot breathe when they ignore me. I would give up everything just to hear them say I matter. This is the only thing that feels real right now. I am so tired of being hungry for someone who will not feed me. Breathe into the tightness in your throat. I can stay here with this ache and not fall apart. My awareness holds this feeling without being destroyed by it. The wanting comes and goes, and I am still here. Underlying beliefs. Perhaps I believe that love must be earned through suffering. Maybe I think that if someone is warm to everyone, their approval has no value. It is possible I confuse emotional unavailability with safety, because that is what I knew growing up. I could be trying to win over a cold parent through every cold person I meet. Possibly my ego believes that if I finally crack their shell, I will finally be someone. There may be a hidden payoff. Staying in pursuit keeps me from having to be still with myself. I might believe that being chosen by a withholding person proves I am exceptional. It could be that this pattern is an old identity, the good child who tries harder to earn love. This structure once served to keep me attached to unavailable caregivers. But it is no longer aligned with who I am now. And I am outgrowing it rather than fixing it. Adult self, gently turn toward your inner child. I am sorry to my inner child who experienced that love felt conditional, and that you had to chase to feel safe. I am sorry you learned that warmth was unpredictable, and that coldness felt more familiar than kindness. Your awareness is safe now. You are not those moments of hunger and rejection. Emotions are visitors. They come and they go. I am the one who stays steady with you. Inner child speaks. You say me. You are not turning away. Maybe I can let my shoulders down a little. Adult speaks. I give you permission to stop chasing. I give you permission to forgive yourself for trying so hard. I release any guilt and shame you carry for wanting to be seen. I honor our journey together, even the painful parts. I love you. You are not wrong for wanting love. You are safe to let go and be yourself now because I am here. The feelings of needing their approval are passing experiences, not defining reality. I will protect you. Now that we've felt and honored the experience, allow understanding and light to arise naturally. Message from higher self. The belief that approval from withholding people is more valuable was an illusion born of old pain, not truth. You were never required to earn your worth. That idea was a survival adaptation, not a fact. Your value is not a prize to be won. It is the ground you stand on. Thoughts of hunger and chasing are temporary appearances in consciousness. The true self has always been whole, untouched by rejection or coldness. Rest in that. Calm is your natural state when you stop reaching for what was never yours to chase. Filling the void. I have my own orientation now. I can feel which direction is actually mine. I am supported by my own attention, not their response. My body can hold the urge to chase without acting on it. I move forward in my own life, not toward their approval. The ask. Inner child. I give you permission to feel the stillness in your chest where the chase used to live, just for a breath. You can let your hands rest and your eyes soften without scanning for their reaction. Adult self. I choose to stay present with the empty feeling instead of filling it with their face. I can pause 1 second longer than the urge to perform and let that be enough. Higher self. I allow the nervous system to unlearn this pattern at its own pace, without forcing. Let the body discover what ease feels like when no one needs to be won over. Bridge into your new reality. Before, their silence felt like a verdict, whereas now it simply feels like silence in the same space as my breath. I used to feel desperate to change their mind, and yet now I notice I can stay curious about my own experience instead. Previously, approval from them felt like relief from drowning. But in this moment, my own presence feels like solid ground beneath my feet. Reclaim your power. I choose to release the belief that being chosen by cold people proves anything about my worth. And I embrace the learning that my attention is the real treasure. I witness myself letting go of this old chase. And the self-watching is already whole, capable and untouched by any of it. Seeing it done, I imagine myself feeling calm and ordinary in a situation that used to trigger the chase. I see myself now walking away from a cold interaction, not with resentment or hunger, but with a quiet sense of completion. My shoulders are soft. My breath is even. I am not replaying anything. I am simply living my life. And their temperature is just weather, not a test. In a parallel reality, this is already how I move, present, unhooked, free. My inner child feels the quiet joy of being held by me, instead of hunting for scraps. The world feels wider now, full of ordinary moments that have nothing to do with winning anyone over. My inner child is quietly thrilled that I finally stopped begging and started breathing. I feel the warm, ordinary peace of not caring whether they look at me. Like sunlight on my hands. My body knows how to rest now. And that rest feels richer than any approval ever did. This way of relating to my own hunger feels surprisingly simple. It is just a shift of attention, not a battle. And that is safe. That is normal. Now experience a new future. The exact moment arrives. The person is there. Their voice is flat. Their face does not light up. My old pattern starts to hum in the background. But this time I feel my feet on the floor. I notice my breath is slow. There is a small space between their coldness and my response. In that space I feel my own weight. My chest is not tight. It is just present. I exhale. I do not need to perform. I do not need to earn. I let my eyes rest on something neutral in the room. My inner child shifts slightly. No one is chasing. No one is begging. I am simply here. The urge to try harder comes up like a small wave. And I watch it without grabbing it. It passes. My body stays soft. I feel a quiet sense of competence. I am not fighting anything. I am not collapsing. I am just living this moment with my own attention as the anchor. The interaction ends. I turn away naturally. There is no replay loop. There is just the next ordinary thing, my hand on the door. The air on my face, my breath going in and out. Relief is not dramatic. It is just the absence of the chase. I feel complete. I feel normal. This is safe now. This is how I move. Allow this felt sense to continue integrating naturally in the body and in life. Take a deep breath, feel the shift, and smile. Let this settle gently. There's nothing you need to do right now. You can return to this whenever you feel called. Be gentle with yourself. If something came up for you while listening, a memory, a belief, a specific person or situation, this work deepens when it is made personal. I can create a free audio session built around exactly what you are carrying. Just check the link in the description to request yours.